Any funny stories of traveling with your team?
Oh,
Anything at all?
is there anything? Maybe So here is a life lesson. If you're taking non-travel people on a business trip, don't tell them there's a Buc-ee's anywhere in a 30-mile radius. Oh man.
We're rolling. Should we keep talking about how blind we are now?
Way back when. Let me put my glasses on. Oh, that microphone looks a lot bigger now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know I need reading glasses because I'm getting to be a curmudgeon-y old man, but...
Yeah. I've been wearing them since 7th grade, so...
So welcome to our podcast on eyeglasses.
On glasses.
Yes. Well, welcome to the free dive where we're going to break in.
We're getting to know each other here.
We're getting to know each other's eyeglass prescriptions.
Yes.
At home, viewer, do you have a stigma? What is it? Yeah.
Stigmatism.
Do you have a stigmatism?
Do you have a stigma around wearing glasses?
I have a stigma about my stigmatism.
Oh my goodness. You don't have a stigmatism.
I don't have a stigmatism.
No.
I don't actually know what a stigmatism is.
It's when your eye isn't shaped right. It's like not round. It's flatter and it's harder to get contacts for. That's what my husband has.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So for a while you could only get hard lenses for them, which is horrible if you ever got anything in your eye. It was like you're being stabbed in the eye. Yeah. They were wretched. But they've come a long way. Anyway.
So.
Getting to know you. We got to know each other recently, Bill.
Yeah. So this week on the free dive, we're talking about business travel.
Yes.
So this has been probably one of the busiest stretches of travel I've had.
Yes, you've been gone a lot.
I have been gone a lot, which I maybe the office feels good about that. I'm not sure.
Like, where in the world is
Bill? Yes. And Deb, you had your very first work trip experience.
First trip to Texas. First trip to the Central Time Zone.
Wow, it was a lot of firsts.
It was a lot of firsts. First time leaving my family since having one.
Wow.
Without any of them coming with me.
Wow. So, with some Haley separation anxiety.
No, she's old enough that she was
cool about it.
She was cool, and my husband took the 3. It was only 3 days, so it was whirlwind.
Yes.
So he took the 3 days off and managed her homeschooling and did stuff that he needed to do. Took her to dance class, got the drop-off pickup, and got to juggle all that.
So how did you feel? Okay, so you were on the first leg of my summertime travel. So for those who follow Seapoint, we have a client that we love in Texas.
Yes, they're awesome.
And they're awesome. So we did a site visit to Texas. Mm-hmm. Usually they come once a year to Maine, and we have a jam session. This year we went to Texas.
Yeah.
And incredible hospitality on their part.
Oh, yeah. They were amazing.
Yeah. But it is kind of a funny thing, business travel, because it's one of those things that on paper, it seems like a lot. Mm-hmm. Like the expense, buying airplane tickets, hotels, for a day meeting, right?
Right.
But what do you see the value, the benefits from it?
Just getting to, our meetings with the client are so, we have them every week, but they're so specific, and there might be a little chit-chat at the beginning, but it's usually just between a couple people on the call. There's no way to really get to know people. So just having that connection, I think, can really solidify that relationship too. Now you're invested in not just, you're doing good work, but you're doing good work and we enjoy spending time with you, and you're our people type of thing. There's something to be said for working with people, whether it's working with a client or working with a business that you jive with.
Yeah.
And you really get to see that more, I feel like, when you're there. And it's just easier to have impromptu conversations that go places that maybe a half-hour weekly meeting doesn't allow the opportunity for.
Yeah. No, totally agree. And along those thoughts, it's kind of interesting because in our industry, technology has gotten to the point where all of our meetings are on Zoom. So we're meeting face to face
Right.
at this point, versus like maybe 10 years ago when it was just audio, tie-ins, quick call. It would be telephone conferences, things of that.
Oh,
Freeconferencecall.com,
yes.
back
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
day. Yeah. But it's interesting that even with the advancements in technology, even though we're, basically sitting in our virtual rooms, you lose some type of connection.
Yeah.
Versus just sitting in a conference room together and being able to hash out project stuff.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, we find that even within the team, like we've got a lot of remote workers. I'm remote a lot. And there's all sorts of ways to stay connected, but it's not always the same as spending a day in the office and actually getting to have conversations and just there's more opportunity to see where things lead in those types of collaborations and stuff. And that's where new ideas are born all the time. It's like, I'll come in here on a day with Anna Lynn and we'll like have this idea. It's like we see each other all the time or are on calls together all the time. And it doesn't go there. But when you're together face to face, something else happens. It's hard to like put your finger on what it is, but there's definitely that ability to connect in a different way.
Yeah.
That leads to ideas.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And then it's interesting too, so we did Texas. Then I went out to Pima. And then after Pima, I dovetailed that. I did a trip to Wisconsin to visit Nosco, our client. And that was really interesting to me because Nosco's director of marketing has been out here before.
Okay.
And met with us here in Kittery. But it was the first time anybody from Sea Point has been out to their plant.
Okay.
And I thought it was really interesting because, so for those who don't know, Nosco is a national packaging company, very, very strong in the pharmaceutical packaging, and then a lot of like pouches, gusseted bags for really making a push into consumer goods is really where their focus is right now. And it was really interesting to me because, we meet with them, we're doing a lot of work with social with them, but actually just to be able to go and like walk through the factory floor, see the machinery, get a better understanding of the culture there.
Yeah.
It was people that we've worked with for over 5 years that we've never met in person.
Wow.
And so I feel like there's a lot that can, just in those short interchanges where you get to know people better to understand, their working, and I think even like things, between any of these clients, you might be on Zoom, you might get a certain look, you might get a certain reaction to something, but you don't know the person from real life. You don't see the person to be like, okay, that's their just how they are in the office.
Yeah.
They're not expressing displeasure or pleasure about the subject.
That's
or
their processing
approval.
look or
That's
whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And then you meet them in person,
Yeah.
and I feel like afterwards, afterwards, all your Zoom meetings actually are far more productive based off of that.
Yeah. So how do you, as a business owner, justify like the costs? Like you said, it's like we 5 of us went down to Texas. How do you justify a trip like that from a cost perspective?
And again, I think that depends on how the retainer's built out.
Yep.
As far as services to build that into. Again, obviously some clients are smaller projects and much more limited in scope.
Yeah.
So it may not warrant, or maybe it's once every 5 years do a smaller project that way.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a case of, with a bigger client, between, that and Pima, educational side, that as well, as far
That's
as
a big trip too.
yeah, it's not just we're sending one person to Pima, we're sending 2 to 3 team members at a time now to Pima. The educational benefits of that, it's an expensive proposition.
Yeah.
But you have to look at the impact of being able to meet people in your peer group. And then even for instance, Courtney went to her last Pima last winter. I think it was a huge professional development aspect for her.
Yeah.
Just even being in the room with, other people in the industry that may have similar roles in-house at these companies was a good opportunity for her to meet people that dealing with similar challenges, similar issues.
Yeah.
I think that was really beneficial.
Yeah, there's definitely value. I'm going to make a Hamilton reference because we're fans, but being in the room where it happens is all I think of. Like, that's what I thought when we went down to Texas. It's like being able to be in the room where these conversations happen. There is definitely, from a professional development standpoint, there's value in that for the team, even as well, in feeling valued enough to warrant going on it, being invited on a trip like that, and being in the room where those conversations happen. And that's, I feel, from my side of things, good for building morale among the team. Like, yeah, we do value what you're doing. We want you to go to this because it's going to be beneficial long term for your career here. So I feel like that's something for business owners to keep in mind too. Like, that's team building as well as client relation building.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And it's funny because we're coming into summer now. Well, we're in summer. It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it up here in the Northeast.
According to the calendar.
Yeah. But it's funny because we are kind of coming into that season that's conference season, like summer into fall, like all the conferences. And it is a funny one trying to figure out like what conferences are going to bring your team value, and does the cost warrant the sending the people?
Yeah.
So, like, for instance, we're not sending anybody to Inbound this year.
Yeah.
Partly because Inbound's not in Boston. Inbound is in San Francisco this year. So, I mean, yay for the West Coast marketers out there. Yep. They're going to have that availability a little bit closer for them.
Yeah.
But I do think it's one of those things where when it's in town in Boston, you know, the cost proposition of that, like everyone sleeps at home, everyone can go down for the
Right, it's a little more doable.
A little more doable. So, you know, I lose the hours, you know, as far as working hours. You have the cost of the program. But that's always been, I think, a fairly good conference that in the marketing world as far as, and especially as much as we do in HubSpot to understand where HubSpot's going. I think the team as a whole always has commented to me that they would skip Inbound itself and just go to Partner Day.
Oh, okay.
The team members that work in HubSpot say that Partner Day is the most valuable day that they really get something out of it. Inbound can be a little bit more of a, you know, a social thing.
It was interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if Amy Poehler is going to really help up my marketing game.
I don't know, but I wanted to go to the Ryan Reynolds one.
Yes.
I was bummed about that. I'm not going to lie. Yes. His marketing's pretty stellar.
This year it was like, I think this year's like Amy Poehler and the guy who does the hot wings.
Oh,
tasting.
Hot Ones?
Hot Ones.
Oh, I like
guy.
Hot Ones. Yeah.
I think it would be funny if they just get him and Brian Halligan on the stage and make Brian Halligan eat hot wings.
He's turned that into quite the brand, though. Like, his stuff, the sauces are everywhere. Like I just discovered that podcast last year.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is interesting. Like,
yeah. So, but I think the other conference regional for us that I do really love is Agents of Change.
Yeah, I've heard of that one. It's up in Portland, right?
Yeah. So Flight Media, Rich Brooks puts it on. I've been a couple times.
Yep.
And then last 2 years, I've sent team members from Seapoint and got great reviews as far as like really actionable use. So that one I do, again, like we talk about like the cost for sending people to one of these things. So again, it's regional. I'm not paying airfare for someone to go.
Yeah.
But the cost of the conference isn't horrible.
Yeah.
So I feel like what they've learned and they get back it's definitely like making that equation work.
Yeah.
Is definitely worth it.
So it doesn't have to be some big extravagant Inbound level like check regional stuff. Like there's good information out there and people are putting together conferences like that.
Exactly.
Everywhere.
And I think too the thing is looking for a conference that is more conference oriented versus booth oriented.
Okay.
Like
explain the difference.
Like Expo. So like there's InsurTech, there's some other ones. They're more like vendors setting up booths. Mm-hmm. And there's value to meeting like, okay, what tech is coming out in our space? What are people offering? But I find like an event that's far more focused on the actual program and
in education, not just here's my business.
Yeah.
Look at my
I will say
flyers.
that's one of the things I love about Pima.
Yeah.
Right. So we're a member of Pima. It's a marketing for insurance in the Infinity space. There's no booths. There's no vendor set up. You know, the hall of you know, get your cheap swag sort of deal.
Yeah.
But it's you know, it's networking and programs, and people are far more focused on getting work done while they're there. Whether that work is, you know, setting up meetings, collaboration between groups. I think it's a great ecosystem as far as, you know, you have the providers of insurance, you have the distributors of insurance, and then you have people like us who are facilitate in that space. You have all of them in a room, you know, for 3 days. There's a lot of great ability for collaboration,
Absolutely.
sounding, and organizations like that. So I think that's like finding value as far as like if you can find organizations or events to go to that less fluff.
Yeah.
And more like the building,
really training
and building like legitimate relationships from it.
So you got to give a presentation at that Pima conference. What was that about? And no one's going to be shocked by this. Bill, tell us what your presentation was about.
Guess what, everybody? I was discussing AI.
No.
Insurance marketing with AI. Yeah, you know, and it was really an interesting room because on one hand, you had a lot of like C-suite people that were VPs for insurance, you know, and there might be some. I think we're at the point where most people are using AI at some point,
to some degree.
Like almost everyone I know is using ChatGPT in some way, whether it's, you know,
personal or what, helping you plan meals for the week or
right. But I still think as a group and as an organization, it was in an audience, it was a lot of people that are like, I know it's out there, I know it's making changes, but I don't really understand how it's going to impact me.
Yeah.
How it impacts me now and how it's going to impact me.
And how can I use it
right
in an appropriate way so that I don't get left behind.
But on the other hand, so, you know, one of the points I made in the presentation is AI to me is the most overhyped and underhyped technology at the same time. Because on one hand, like everybody just throws the words with AI, right? Now with AI on everything.
Yeah.
And to the point we've just been kind of deaf to it, or, you know, just like, all right, whatever, you have AI and you're catch up now. But on the other hand, like people aren't seriously thinking about the impact of the technology and how quickly it's changing. And I think there's that two part of it, because we think about AI as far as creating things. So there's a lot of AI pictures, a lot of AI videos, a lot of being able to use it. Google's new VO3 is pretty impressive. I mean, it's still got a lot of bugs right now, and especially the continuity. But I figure give them 6 months, VO3 is going to... I wouldn't be surprised within a year if somebody makes a movie that's just an AI-generated movie somehow.
There's a fly that just flew right by my ear. I'm like, what? Sorry.
The fly's also interested in AI.
I guess so.
So that side of it, like it's so there's the creative side, being able to make things, especially in a commercial marketing sense. Like we're gonna have the ability to create ad copy and content at a fraction of the price than what it would have been 5 years ago. So to me, that's really exciting in the sense that there's smaller organizations. They're going to be able to make much more polished, much more professional content, and they just wouldn't have had the budgets to before. So that's part of it. Like, what can you make? What can you create with AI? AI creating. The other part, though, is the synthesizing information.
Yeah.
So it's not just always like what does it put out, but then also what insights can AI and that part of being able to engage with these large language models to take our ad copy, take our analytics, and provide analysis that either would take a long time for a human just to be able to pull that data together and synthesize it in some usable
Yeah.
form. I think that's the other exciting part about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely want to get more into
Yeah.
learning more about that. What's the craziest thing you've done with AI so far? Because I'll tell you, we get lots of stuff dropped in the chats
Yes.
at weird hours. All of a sudden, there's this whole thread of videos and pictures of us as Muppets and Star Wars characters and such. So, what's the craziest thing you've done with AI?
I've started making movies with like short little clip movies with AI. That's been a lot of fun. Some of those have been showing up in our
Yes,
C
they
Point
have.
chat. I've been able to do some custom coding for things that was beyond my personal level that
Nice.
I've been pretty proud of. I don't have like a moonshot crazy thing yet that I've done, but I've had a lot of like little projects
Yeah.
that I've worked on.
Yeah.
I mean, my AI Beatnik Club was a lot of fun, where I was getting AI to write poetry, but not for humans, but for other AIs, and then I would share it with the other AI, large language models, and then we had this kind of like, I was joking that my way of preventing the robot uprising is that I'm going to make AI want to open up an independent bookstore in Seattle instead of take over the world. So, I'm doing my part.
I personally loved the videos of our team members dancing.
Oh, those were good.
Bollywood dance and hip hop. Seeing Annalyn hip hop dance
That was pretty great.
That was pretty special to me.
Yeah. That's been the interesting thing. That is the one limitation, like with VO3, that like they haven't got to. So for those who haven't used it, Google launched their text to video product called VO. They had VO2, they just launched VO3. VO3 also does sound. So you can give it a character, you can get them to say something. It's super useful. Downside of it is VO3 with the text being able to generate sound, generate people talking, you can only use that text prompt to video. You still can't use image references. So in the past, I would have been able, for instance, not in the past, what I'd love to be able to do is upload, like, for instance, my picture. So with VO2, I could upload my picture, and then it was the video of me getting off the private jet, looking like Pitbull a little bit, and then puppies coming up and running up to me, right?
So random.
So random. Well, I was telling someone, like, I made it, and I was like, oh, this looks pretty great. Like, I have this, I had bought a tuxedo jacket that was a gold paisley tuxedo jacket. I bought it for Pima because it was their 50th anniversary. Figured, they have a gala night. I'll wear it for the gala. And it would be a great tie-in for this AI stuff. So I'm wearing it, and on the video, it shows me getting off the private jet with my gold tuxedo jacket. And at first, it was giving me a little too much Andrew Tate vibes, And if you know me, it's definitely I'm not Pitbull / Andrew Tate. That's just not my MO. And then I was just like, well, this is kind of going in the wrong direction.
How can I tone this down?
Puppies.
Puppies.
Golden retriever puppies running across the tarmac saved me.
It's like, there's Bill.
Yeah. So that was done in VO2 because you couldn't get audio with VO3 to, like, as a character. I think once we get to that point of especially being able to take, like, a character and have that character be consistent through multiple clips. So Google's VO3 is 8-second clips at this point. So I've been trying to work around a few projects right now. And the problem is, like, I couldn't have a person say something in a clip and then recreate that exact same person to then say something in a follow-up clip with a consistency of voice, consistency of how they look.
Yep.
So you almost have to, like, have your speaking stuff in one 8-second clip, and then if you need any consistency of character, you have to downgrade to VO2 and use that reference, but then you lose all your sound. So then you have to either somehow voiceover or, like, it just gets more complicated.
This is like its own full-time job.
It kind of
learning
is.
this stuff.
So
Do you think that's going to be a position now for companies, like just someone who manages the AI?
Well, again, the thing is with that, though, is you have two different sides of it, right? So just saying, like, well, I have someone managing I think organizations are going to have people that specialize in creative development with AI,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
there's going to just, I think that's going to be an offshoot of your graphic designers, your
Yeah.
videographers, your, the creative team in an agency or an organization. But then you're also going to have someone like you, Deb, who's going to, being able to use ChatGPT for sheets, for instance, and have the ability to, okay, I'm going to start learning or thinking about how to leverage AI to gain deeper insights from data that I currently have, or asking AI questions to uncover things.
So it's more of a different teams learning what the versions of AI they need
Exactly.
to do their job better.
And I think identifying the right third party tools.
Yeah.
'Cause that's the other thing. Like
There's so much out there.
Right. And then you could spend days I think that was a great example with VO3. Like I spent probably $200-$300 and a day. And again, it was mostly off hours, something because I was more fascinated with and prepping for Pima as well. Trying to shoot a commercial for one of our clients using AI. And I got about 70% of the way there, but then some of those limitations I was talking about, like where it's not there yet with VO3, helped me to appreciate where it is right now. So there may be another tool, finding the tool that is going to use that correctly. I think that's the other part is having someone who understands what's emerging software that can be used in connection with these tools.
Yep.
And for myself as an agency owner on a smaller team, I think a lot of that just kind of falls on me. I mean, it's something I'm interested and curious about.
It seems like it's your hobby right now.
It's a little bit of my hobby.
You play hockey and you learn AI.
And if I could combine them.
Oh my goodness. Pretty soon there's going to be an AI version of Bill.
Yes. AI hockey Bill. He scores more goals. I could probably make better highlight reels of me playing.
Oh my goodness. There we go. So now we're not going to be able to trust any of the hockey videos that you post in the chat. It's like, that's not really you.
That's not really Bill.
That's six-fingered Bill.
Bill can't really shoot like that. Hard to tell how many fingers you have when you have hockey gloves on.
Oh, that's true. That's true. The gloves save you.
But I think I have a personal responsibility to understand what's fluff and what's going to be really useful for our clients.
Yeah.
So I think that's where my own interest is in it, and just how much it's going to change things and how quickly things are changing. So
fast.
Yeah. I was looking at some of the AI photo generation stuff from a year or 2 years ago, and how
it's crazy
how it just looks so cheap compared to what Midjourney can do now.
Yeah.
Or what some of these other platforms are putting out. Or
it's going to be hard to know what's real.
It is going to be very hard to know what's real very, very quickly.
It's going to create a whole generation of skeptical consumers.
Well, I'll give you a great one. Is even that, but even thinking about phishing scams. When you start getting phone calls from your boss telling you need to do X, Y, or Z. We took one of our clients. She wanted to create a digital avatar of herself so she could post some videos talking about different products. And so we made one of her telling the rest of her team that they really need to send us brownies. But, Seapoint's doing such a great job. We should send him brownies. And I emailed it to the rest of their team. So we'll see if we get brownies or not.
Oh, my goodness.
But I think that's the sort of thing that we're going to see more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back to the travel. I have one other question for you. Any funny stories of traveling with your team?
Oh.
Anything at all?
Is there anything maybe So here is a life lesson. If you're taking non-travel people on a business trip, don't tell them there's a Buc-ee's anywhere in a 30-mile radius. 'Cause, oh man,
I don't know what you mean.
All things considered, some business travelers want to have expensive dinners and and have a high per diem. Nope.
We're low maintenance.
Low maintenance. My team just wanted to go to Buc-ee's.
Just let's go to Buc-ee's. And
to the point that they made me get up insanely early on a travel day.
It was like 9 o'clock then, wasn't it?
No, we left at 9.
We left at 9.
Yes.
Oh, so it was like 8.
Yeah.
That's not insanely early. We had been up for 3 hours already. Well, you're talking to moms who don't sleep.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, are we ready to do something?
You're talking about your jet lag boss.
I know. That was
who had just come from Europe.
Yes,
2 days before.
2 days before. Yes, yeah. There was no rest for Bill.
No, this entire summer's been like that. I feel like I'm finally like in office.
Yeah. You're home for a while now?
Yeah, just putting my head down, getting stuff done.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have you back.
It's good to be back. It's good to be on the podcast.
Yeah. So Christy's got her new part, Get to Know the Team Member, and we have a question for you.
Oh, hit me.
Okay. What member of the team hates, in all caps, hates getting high fives?
Ooh. There's somebody on the team who hates high fives?
Hates. Yes.
It's not Courtney.
Nope.
I don't think it's Tim.
Nope.
Is it Annalyn?
Nope.
Ooh. Is it Christy?
Yes.
Oh.
Hates
high five.
Yeah, and so I'm supposed to make sure you know that's not an invitation to try to high five her every time you see her.
No, I was like, is this like a podcast intervention?
You know who's
sitting?
Who's sitting 5 feet away from you?
Yeah. Do you know who's sitting 5 feet away from you and looking at you over your shoulder right now?
High five.
And should never be high-fived again? Is it Christy? Yes.
Yes, it's Christy.
So stop your high fives.
It wasn't said as a hint. It was just an interesting fact she thought you wouldn't guess.
No, I did not guess Christy's anti-high five.
Anti-high five.
Yeah. What about low five?
No five.
No fives.
No fives. Unless you're high-fiving a little kid, she's not down with it.
Good to know.
Yes.
No hand slapping. Yeah, not into the hand slap.
Not gonna lie, makes me kind of want to high-five her a little bit, but I'm not going to.
What is it about that?
It's
no. I mean, what is it that once you know somebody doesn't want to high five,
then you want to?
Oh, you're just like,
I know.
Bring it in.
It's like stop thinking about the elephant, and you just only think about the elephant.
Oh. That probably went off screen, but
that's okay. They get the point.
All right. Till next week.
We're out.
High five, everybody.
High five.
It's the end.
No, it's not. There's more.
There's always more.
Don't be sad. You can catch our full video interviews on our YouTube channel. Come find us.
And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with your friends so that we're not sad.
And follow us on TikTok.
And Instagram.
It'll make your day happier, promise.
And we'll know if you do. Until next time.